Welcome back to the Boondocks Homestead, y'all. I'm glad you're back. And for those of you that just stopped by, I'm so glad you're here. So today, I am going to can some corn. And I pulled this out of the refrigerator. Tim lets me know kind of what's in the freezers, what we need to turn over and stuff. And he's like, we're going to need the room in there. You better do something with that because we didn't eat a whole lot of this over the summer. So today, we're going to can some of it and put it on the shelf, and it's going to last me another year or so. You know, it's been in there since summer of last year. And this was only like this, well, we ate some of it through the winter, but we only had like 3 or 4 rolls of corn, and our garden's not huge. So that's not very, they're not long rolls. You know, they're probably long as this building, probably 24 feet long. And so we got quite a bit of corn off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you down here where you can see. Okay, just to the side. So you're going to start at the little end, and I've done and I washed this and I let it soak for a little bit and got the silk off of it, and we're ready to go. You start at the little end. You don't want to scrape the cob on regular corn, y'all. Don't scrape the cob, okay? So we're just going to go in a little deep. This deep. We don't want to scrape the cob. I'm sorry, I can't see. And look, there's still some silk on there. Still some of that stringy stuff on there. Well, that's okay. I thought I got it, but I probably didn't get it all. It's down in there. Now, if you were making cream corn, you would scrape the cob. But we're not. I'm doing regular corn, and we don't want to scrape that cob because that gives like a milky consistency when you scrape that cob. We're not going to do it. Okay? So I'm just going to, that's all you do. Just go and be careful. If you got using a sharp knife, just be careful. And just go down through there. I'm sure they have some kind of gadget for this. I just haven't found it yet. But, and there you go. Okay, and I'm going to do each cob like that. Then, you see how it don't get exactly all of it off? So you guess where these are going. These are going right in with my chickens when I get done. They're going to love it. So I'm just going to put all my corn in this big pan here that I get out. I'll just put it in here and get it out of my way and go to the next cob. Okay? And then, like I said, we're going to put the big end at the bottom. I think that's the big end. And start at the top, the little end. Go down through there and take that off. Don't go too deep. It won't take too long to get it done. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this whole bowl. I'm going to get this done real quick, and then I'll be back with you, and we'll continue on. So don't go nowhere. All right, y'all. I wanted to get you over here and kind of show you what I was doing before we actually get to stacking or filling these jars. I've got my double canner going because I'm going to have enough to fill it up, I think. And I've got my bottom in my canner, okay? And to set that in there, let me get you over here. Now I'm going to pour 3 quarts of water in my canner. You're going to go by your canner, how much your canner calls for, okay? Mine says 3. I think I'm going to put 4 though, because that just don't look deep enough to me. So let me get 1 more quart. So what this is for is so your canner doesn't run out of water, and that steam and that pressure is what's cooking your food, okay? Not the water. But you don't want this to run out of water. So I'm going to put almost another quart, because when I put my jars in there, it's going to raise it a little bit, okay? I just don't want it to run out of water. Then over here, now I used my ball book, and it calls for 2 cups of water to every cup of corn. I had 16 cups of corn, So I used 32 cups of water. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to turn the fire off, and I'm going to let it simmer for 5 minutes. Okay? This isn't a very good stock pot. It's not a heavy bottom pan, and I'm trying to keep it from sticking to the bottom. I don't like these. I like the size of these pans, but I don't like them because they're not a heavy bottom. If you go to buy you some stock pots, always get a heavy bottom. And you're going to get little, see those little things floating around? You're going to find some of those after you put your corn in. You are going to find some of that stuff when it's going to settle, and then that stuff's going to float to the top that was in your corn. There won't be a bunch because you're going to see it when you're cutting your corn up. Okay? We'll just keep that handy just in case. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this to a boil for 5 minutes. We're going to let it simmer 5 minutes. We're going to bring it to a boil, shut the stuff off, and let it simmer for 5 minutes. Okay? Now, you can put salt in here, but I did not. I don't like to add salt. Salt isn't a preservative when it comes to canning. Okay? Meat, yes, not canning. It's just your preference whether you want to salt. I always salt it when I cook it. When I bring it out, or not cook it, but I let stuff boil for 10 minutes before we eat it, just in case. Just in case. I told you guys I'm just kind of like I have to be on the edge there with that because I don't want to make anyone sick, and I don't want to get sick. So anything I open off the shelf, if it's not in vinegar or something like that, but vegetable-wise or meat-wise, I just cook it 10 minutes, okay? Some stuff, it's hard to do, like sweet potatoes. That's hard to cook 10 minutes because you'll end up with mush. I've come to find out. But most stuff like this will be fine. You know, I'll be able to, my green beans, stuff like that, okay? And so I just salt and pepper it when I get ready to put it on the stove to warm it up before we eat it, all right? Now, I'm going to get this going. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on anyways and get that water warm because when I start putting this in those jars are going to be warm. They're going to be really warm. I'm kind of excited to see how much corn we're actually going to get out of this mess. I'm hoping it's enough to fill this canner. And I think I can put 7 on top and 7 on bottom. There's some little strings. You're going to run into those too. I remember the first year I did this corn a long time ago. And I didn't worry about these little strings at all. I just cut my corn off the cob, washed it, cut my corn off the cob, put it in there. I didn't like do this with my hands or anything on it to try to get those off. My jars were full of those things. Kind of like my popcorn this year because I didn't have a thing to blow it as we were shucking it or, you know, getting it off the cob. But, you know, it is what it is. You learn, you live and learn, right? If I wasn't making mistakes, I probably wouldn't be learning. I'm just going to tell you. So I just pass it on what I learned to you all. Don't want that to stick. I've had these pans for a long time, and it was a cheap set, but I thought, well, I'm going to get them because I'll use them for something. Well, that's what you get for buying a cheap set. You can't hardly cook in them. Boil water, but you can't hardly cook stuff in it because they just got that flimsy bottom. If you're going to invest in some stainless steel pots, get some heavy bottom pots. Mine, I've bought 2 so far. They're both over at the house. And I think I paid $50 a pot for them. And to me, that's pretty expensive. But it don't even matter because they're heavy bottom. And I probably would have paid $100 for them because I do so much of this kind of stuff, you know. But they're so heavy bottomed, like nothing sticks. But you get something like this that's thin bottomed, and you can tell because when you do this to the bottom, it goes ting, 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 and you'll know. And it'll go thud, thud if it's a heavy bottom, and that's what you want. All right. So when this comes to a boil, I'm going to get the rest of this set up real quick and get ready to go. So don't go nowhere. All right, we're back, and I'm going to start filling these jars. Now you're supposed to leave an inch headspace. So don't really have this close enough, probably. I don't want to make a mess, but I probably am going to. You get some of your water and your corn when you go in here and get some of this. And you're going to fill it up to an inch headspace, okay? I really hope I have enough to fill all these jars. Okay, there's an inch. And remember, I salt them. You can salt them whenever you want to. I salt them when I go to cook them. You warm them up for dinner. I got a lot of corn in there, so I'm going to put some liquid. Okay, so I'm just going to go down through these and finish, and then I'll show you what we got. Okay, now we're going to debubble these, and I may have to add some more water. I didn't get as many jars as what I thought I would, but that's okay. There's plenty. I'm going to go around. I debubbled, y'all. I'm going to go around. I'm going to clean off my rims. Make sure you clean off your rims because corn is sweet and sticky. Okay. Okay. And I got my lids in this pan over here. I'm just going to put my lids on. Y'all know the deal if you watch me can very much stuff. Just pretty much go through the same steps every time. Depending on what it is. I had just enough lids in here, y'all. That worked out great. Okay, put the rims on. Finger tight. Oop. That one felt a little rusty. Take him back off. A little bit. Yeah, he's a little rusty inside. I don't like to use them because I've had a few bust in there with rusty lids. So I'm just kind of trying to be careful with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sit them in my pan. All right. Normally these would be way too hot for me to do this, but I didn't let them go the full time. And I just banged that against the thing. I didn't let them go the full time in my other pan because I didn't want them to stick. I'm just going to put these in here like this. And I'm going to have only 3 on top. That's okay. I'm going to put my second layer in. Okay. Normally, this would be full too. But I've only got 3 to put up here. And you want to kind of put them off on your lids. Don't put them all on the same, like it's directly over the top of another jar. Kind of stagger them. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little bit of this in here. And just so you guys know, you've seen me, let me get you down. Y'all seen me taking my thing and doing this with it. And you probably thought, oh, she's contaminated. This is all I use this one for. It's my cannon. So it's not a big deal. I pour it in my thing and I do it. Sometimes I'll put it in a bowl, but there's really no sense to because I don't use that for like food or anything. So it's not a big deal. Okay, so we're going to put our lid on. And remember, look up through your holes, up through here, to make sure I'm like, that's dark. Oh, well, this one you can't do that with, y'all. Yeah, you can. The middle one. I'm like, what's going on? I've bought so many of these here lately. I don't know what's what. That's kind of scary. Anyway, make sure this is not dry. This is brand new, but don't mean nothing. It could have a tear or rip, crack, fray. Just make sure it's good and it's on there good. Okay? Your little rubber piece here, your band. I'm not sure exactly what that's called. I just call it a rubber piece because you'd think as long as I've been doing this, I would know that, but I just don't even pay no attention really. Okay, I'm going to turn this up and get it going. We're going to get her going. Now, this has got to vent out this hole. It's got to vent for 10 minutes. First, it's got to get up pressure enough to vent. Then after there's a steady stream of pressure, we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes. After it's done that for 10 minutes, I'm going to put the weight on. Where is my weight? This particular canner came with, so this is 10 pounds of pressure. This is my 10-pound gauge, weighted gauge thing. And it's going to go on top there after it steams or vents for 10 minutes. Okay? Then, when this starts, well, this one don't shake. This one goes 5 times in 1 minute. They're all different. You see what I mean? You've got to read your manufacturer, your book that come with it. You got to read it, and you got to do what your canner says. But this is a mirror, and it will do that, and that's how I'll know it's ready. And when it does that, then I start counting down, and it's 55 minutes, I think my ball book says, for pints. Let's look and see. I'm pretty sure, yeah, 55 minutes for pint jars is how long we're going to do it. And I'm not sure exactly what time it is because that clock is wrong. It's almost 12. So I've only got 2 hours to get this done. So I'm hoping I can do it in 2 hours. Or I might break down. I don't know. Be like, I can't leave it. But okay, so we'll get this going. I think it'll be okay. I think we'll get it done. I'm going to be positive and I'm thinking we're going to get it done. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess. I got to make cinnamon rolls for my husband's work tomorrow. And tonight, I'm going to do that when I get back home, Lord willing. And so I wanted to get this corn done before I left because, I'm kind of strapped for time like normal. Always strapped for time. That's okay. I told you before, time is my enemy. Time is everyone's enemy because we're only here for a short time compared to eternity, right? We're just here on this earth for a short time. And then we go 1 or 2 places for eternity. So we got to be good stewards of our time, and I'm not doing very good. I'm just going to be honest with you. Here the last 2-3 years, I haven't done very good with my time. I'm too busy. But I'm working on it. I'm working. I should say I'm not working on it. I'm praying about it. Praying about it, y'all. Prayer's good. You need to pray. Pray to your Creator, to the God of the Bible. So, okay, I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to straighten this up, y'all. And I may have to charge that phone a little bit more. I'm not sure. And then I'll get back with you. So don't go nowhere. All right, you guys. We are finished. It is finished. Let's look, see what we got. Remember, always make sure your things are down before you open your lid, and always open it away from you. See that steam? Oh, it smells good. Looky there. We're just going to put it on this pan with this dish towel. Okay. It looks good. All right, we're all done. What do we get? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 pints. 11 pints of corn. And now I've had them in the freezer since summer of last year. Now this is going to give me another good year or 2 on the shelf, if it lasts that long. So there you go. There you have it. That's what you do. That's what you do when you have a garden. You turn it over, you eat it, you turn it over, and you preserve it so you don't lose it. Okay? It's going to be good on the shelf. It's going to be good for us to eat. So I'll let them be for about 24 hours, and then I'll take the rings off. I'll wash the jars down, and I'll put them on the shelf. All right. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments underneath this video. Or if you just want to holler at me or say something. And until the next time, Lord willing, I'll catch you on the next video.